Okay, hi, welcome. I'm Caroline Blinska from e-commerce Backstage Pass, and today I'm really excited that I have Shomar on the call. We're interviewing him about Ghost Monitor. We're going to find out more about what Ghost Monitor is. So let's get started. So Shomar, thank you so much for being here.
Hi all.
Now, let's get straight into some questions. You actually own an e-commerce store yourself. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. We basically started as a marketing agency, Facebook marketing agency, and maybe 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and we started to build e-commerce stores as well for our clients, and we did it pretty good, pretty well, and we started to create our own e-commerce stores. Right now we have 6 active e-commerce stores in Hungary, in Italy, and in the UK. We are basically selling weight loss and gadget stuffs. We have Christmas shops for Christmas gadgets, for presents. We have weight loss tools. We have weight loss receipts on sale. So we basically have very high traffic shops at the moment. Yes.
Fantastic. And so, what are the three biggest issues that you face as an e-commerce store owner?
Um, for me, the biggest issues were always to find the perfect funnels. It was really hard to connect the whole sales process from the Facebook PPC to the thank you page for the customer. So that road is the funnel, and it was always fascinating me to build that funnel because you have so much choices on the road, and you have to make so much different stuff to make your people actually buy your stuff. So we have native advertising, we have static landing pages, we have one-pagers, we have WordPress blogs, and this whole thing is part of the big sales funnel. So building the sales funnel was always my hardest point of e-commerce because creating Facebook ads, it's easy. Generating some traffic is easy. Um, Easy for me. I know some of the e-commerce owners are struggling with that. Um, but for me, it was all time that was so easy, and the hard point was to make them buy my stuff.
So it's really interesting that you say that because I actually get this question all of the time from my actual members in my group. Sorry, I'm just going to get comfortable here. We're going to get into quite a few questions. Um, I get this question all the time from people. They say to me, "Oh, someone told me to set up a Facebook ad and run an ad to my website, but it's not converting." So I think that the biggest issue that people have is that they think I'll just set up an e-commerce store, I'll run some Facebook ads to a page and I'll get sales. And then you've got some people out there saying, yeah, just run a Facebook ad and you'll get sales because I did. But I don't think that people understand that connection between the Facebook ad and the actual sales. It's not as easy as just setting up an ad and getting sales, is it? So do you have like some advice for people when it comes to that, if that's
Yeah,
what they're thinking?
yeah, sure. Sure. Most of the e-commerce stores right now, what do? They just create an ad and drive that traffic to the homepage. This
Yes.
is something that, when you are on the first date with the girl and you say, "Will you marry me?"
Mm.
So this route is too fast. You have to you have to warm your people. You have to warm your traffic. So what do we do? We are creating native advertising, which is Facebook ads also, and we have the homepage as well. But we put another level between the two things, and this is a WordPress blog. We create articles, we create information, and this is how we warm up our leads, our traffic. We don't send them directly to the homepage because that is something which is outdated. So you have to warm up your cold traffic. When you create a simple Facebook ad and you drive to somewhere, you have to know that that is cold traffic, and you have to warm your leads up. And if you drive them to your homepage, they won't convert. Actually, most likely won't convert. But if they just read your article about your necklace, about your jewelry, about your homemade stuff, then you can retarget them and drive them to the homepage because they are warm. They just showed you that they are interested in your stuff. So basically, I offer everybody to, hey guys, just do some native advertising. Creating a WordPress blog isn't that hard, so everybody can do that. Just do it, write an article, show your product in an, just like if you're on the Mashable or somewhere else, just read an article about your stuff and create ads to that, not your homepage.
Okay, so I think it's pretty understandable how that would work if you had, say, homemade jewelry. You could write an article about, how you created it. If you had Christmas gadgets like you have, you'd write an article about that particular Christmas gadget. But here's something that I think a lot of people that I'm finding are doing. They're creating t-shirt stores. So they're creating a store that sells t-shirts. And I've had quite a few people just this last week asking me this same question privately, that they've got a t-shirt store, for instance, they have, and I've given some answers, so I'd love to know your answer. So I want to see if we align with that. What they've been doing is, say, for instance, one of the guys, he's got a t-shirt store just selling t-shirts about Game of Thrones. Another guy, it's Star Wars. So I've seen this question come up time and time again. And for instance, in one of the groups, it said, someone wrote, I've got this t-shirt store, I'm selling t-shirts about Game of Thrones, but my ads aren't converting. What do I do? I replied, some other people replied, just do Facebook ads. That's all you need to do, and send them to the page. Whereas I replied with a different answer. So what would be your answer to that? And we'll see how my answer, if I'm actually on the same page as you with that. So what would you say to that person if they had a Game of Thrones or Star Wars t-shirt company?
Yeah, it is. I think it's an easy task because on Facebook you can target your audience very narrow. So you can put Game of Thrones, people who like Game of Thrones very easily. So what would I do? I would target my ads, and I would test out a few audiences. I would try to narrow that audience as much as I can.
Yeah.
And that would be the first step. I would check if there is any improvement. If no, I would also try the native advertising when I write an article about, hey, this is a very, very cool site and we can have very, very cool products on this, t-shirts about Game of Thrones. Yeah. And I also would check the numbers after that, and it's always, you do something and you just check it if it works or not, and you go on and you repeat this whole process all the time. I remember when I first put together my first landing page and sales funnel. It was, I don't know, it was about 2 months or something like that when it was able to convert a high amount of traffic. I was tested all the elements, all the stuff, all the sections, all the pictures, all the copy, and it was a really hard work of 2 months. But the end of the journey, the whole sales funnel was able to convert very high amount of traffic. So I suggest to test out stuff. If you have a t-shirt shop, you must be able to target your audience on Facebook very quickly and very narrow. So that's what I would do.
So that was exactly my answer. That's exactly what I said, was target your audience based on Game of Thrones, but also sending them to a blog post was another thing that I did say as well, because exactly like what you're saying, I think that what I wanted to make clear to people that are listening to this was that there's a whole lot of people, well, there's a few people out there that are in these Facebook communities saying, oh, well, I just run an ad and I'm making, $100,000 a month. You can do it too. But the thing is, it's such a small amount of people that got that happening straight away. It's sort of like everyone thinks of Facebook of being this overnight success, but Facebook took 7 years to actually become an overnight success. And the same goes when it comes to having a t-shirt store. It's not as easy as what people think. And it is a lot about testing. And a Facebook ad is not as simple as putting up a Facebook ad. That's what people need to understand. So many people think, oh, I'm just throwing up a Facebook ad. But putting up a proper Facebook ad that converts really highly really comes down to the fact that you need to understand what you're doing with Facebook ads. And that's, what I wanted to get across. And you've just given that example. It took you 2 months until, a lot of testing until it worked. But now that you know that, it makes everything faster for you, because now the next thing you do, you already know what you're doing with that.
Yeah, you're pretty right, and I totally agree with that. And I would say one word to this success, and it is persistence.
Yeah, being persistent. Exactly.
You can't give up. You can't give up. You have to move on. This is the business where you will fail.
Yeah.
It's coded into the e-commerce business. You will fail. That is 100%. But it is good to fail at e-commerce stores, because you learn something.
Yeah.
You never learn anything from success, but you will learn from your failures.
Yeah.
So you have to fail sometimes, and I also fail all the time. Yeah. But I always learn, and I do things differently. So persistence.
Fantastic. So tell us about Ghost Monitor. I want to know more about Ghost Monitor. That's actually how I found you, was that I came across Ghost Monitor. Actually, an ad came up on my Facebook newsfeed. The ad came up, clicked through, had a look at what Ghost Monitor was, and then from there took a look at your About page, and I found you there. And that's why I got in touch with you, because I thought this is fantastic. I would love to know more. I think that everyone in my community would love to know more about what you actually do and what Ghost Monitor is.
Cool. So when we had our high traffic stores, we faced an enormous amount of cart abandoners. And we saw about an 80% cart abandonment. And we knew that we have to do something about this situation. So I just read a post about Facebook, that Facebook uses pre-submit tracking on your posts and comment sections, because they wanna just track what you don't wanna say. Let me give you an example. If you say in your comment that, hey, you are a douchebag, and you delete the douchebag word, Facebook immediately notices that you don't want to use that word. You don't have to hit enter. That's why it's pre-submit tracking. So they are real-time tracking what you are writing on Facebook. This is how their AI decides what words you'd like to see in your newsfeed and what words you don't like to see in your newsfeed. So, and I was really inspired by this technology, and the next morning I asked my developers, hey guys, can we do the same on our checkout page? Because I want to see all the data they fill in, but they don't hit submit or they don't complete their purchase. And they say, oh, sure, hell yeah, we can do it. So we did our first Ghost Monitor because this is why it's a ghost monitor. It was ghost monitor from the beginning, because we called cart abandoners ghosts because an average e-commerce them never know them that they are there. But Ghost Monitor can show you that they are actually exist and they almost purchased your product, but you don't know anything about them. So, and I was definitely shocked from the first results because there were so many cart abandoners who just filled out all the fields and they just turned, no, I'm not buying this stuff. You know, for 100 buyers, we had about 80 cart abandoners who gave all their data.
Wow.
So that was crazy. And we got email addresses, we got telephone numbers, we got all the data, we got addresses, all stuff. So the next step was, it wasn't anything else. The program was just that. It showed you the data of cart abandoners, that's all. So we started to call them up and hanging on the phone and, hey, why didn't you just complete your purchase? And I was presuming that this is going to be something like that. Hey, why didn't you finalize your purchase? And how the hell? How do you know my phone number? And I was assuming that this is going to happen, but actually they were grateful for us calling them up and asking, hey, what's going on? I don't know, about one person freaked out about, hey, how do we do their contact data, but that's all. But the 99% was pretty grateful about calling them up and asking some questions. So it turned out that these cart abandoners who gave all their data but decided not to complete their purchase at the last moment, it turned out that they were very, very, very close to the purchase. They had one distraction, one small question they haven't found in the website. They had one little glitch in their mind, and they decided just not to finalize, not to hit the submit button. So we had a ridiculous 40 and 50% conversion rate on calling cart abandoners on the phone, because it was a human calling another human, and it was really easy to convert them, but it was a huge effort.
Yeah.
Hanging on the phone all day. We had 2 customer service girls, and they were doing the calls all the time. So we decided to make it automated with emails. So we tested out a free email campaign for cart abandoners, which has been sent automatically, and it converts pretty well. And we find out that this is something which could be very big, because all the cart abandoners, like, they just need a little push to come back and complete the purchase. And I've been in Silicon Valley last year on February, and I meet an advisor, a very wise person, and we were talking about this Ghost Monitor stuff, that we have this software and it covers pretty well on our stores. It was custom built to our stores. It wasn't planned to give it to the world. But the advisor said, "Oh, you are going to be very, very stupid if you don't make a startup on this."
Yeah.
So, and I was thinking on my car, going back to my hotel, and I was thinking that, oh, he's pretty right. He's pretty darned right. We have to make it. This is how Ghost Monitor born.
Okay, fantastic. So tell me, if you've got Ghost Monitor installed, for instance, but then on Shopify store, so a lot of people in my community, and not just with Shopify, they're with WooCommerce, they're with other platforms, and I know Ghost Monitor works across different platforms. But with Shopify in the middle package, they actually have a built-in cart abandonment system. So how is Ghost Monitor different? Like, do they still need Ghost Monitor if they're using that package with Shopify?
Yeah. So the basic difference is that we are making much more money than the Shopify built-in solution. So and the technology behind that is we are capturing way much more email addresses than the Shopify built-in solution does. Shopify built-in solution has one email capturing solution,
Okay.
and it is the checkout page. I'm sorry, this is the checkout page. Oh,
So
I'm
on
sorry
the
for
actual,
that.
no, that's
A little
okay.
bit tight.
So on the actual page, once they're actually checking out and they're filling out their information, that's when Shopify
Yeah, this
captures
is the
the,
checkout page capturing
yeah,
solution they use, and this is not pre-submit tracking. This is very important because Shopify does not allow to run your JavaScript code in their checkout fields. So because checkout pages are all hosted by Shopify,
yes, yeah.
so you can't touch that. You can capture the data when someone just hit the next button and they're just skip from the first page to the second one.
Okay.
Uh, and we actually work with four types of different email capturing solutions. We capture add to cart pop-up. We capture all the newsletter. We capture all the subscribe forms you have. So we actually capture 4 or 5 times more email addresses
Wow.
um, than Shopify and other cart abandonment solutions do.
Wow.
So basically, when you use Ghost Monitor, you're going to have much more email addresses, and we paired them to their cards. And if the cards are abandoned, we just fire the emails. So basically, this is how you make much more money with us than any other solution on the market right now.
Okay, so once the email address is captured and that person leaves the website and they choose not to actually purchase, your system will automatically send an email. No one has to go in and say, "Oh, we better send emails today." It just automatically sends the email out.
That's correct.
Wow. Okay. And what about the actual? You mentioned the newsletter. So if someone starts like fills out the newsletter subscribe box, but they don't push enter, you capture that as well. Is that right?
Yeah, we work with every subscribe tracking and email list building software on Shopify. Yes.
Fantastic.
So when we notice an email address, we pair it to the user's cookie, and we watching their cart. If the cart is abandoned, and we check if we have an email address pair. If yes, we fire the emails.
Fantastic. Okay. So let me know. So the actual importing and exporting. So if someone uses Ghost Monitor, does it automatically export the list into their email campaign, into their email management tools?
Right now, we are building the export feature.
Okay.
Um, it's about 2 or 3 weeks away, and yeah, it's a main query about the
Yeah.
features to have an export feature, especially when you use add to cart pop-up, because add to cart pop-up also builds a very hot and very big email list, because when you click on add to cart button, the pop-up shows and asks for email address. So and this list is very hot, because you capture all the users who had any intention to buy your product. So this is a very valuable email list. So of course we are we are working hard to build the export feature to make available in 2 or 3 weeks.
Fantastic. So people that sign up now, for instance, then they'll get those features at the price, because it sounds like you're only $10 a month, aren't you? For the, is it $10 a month?
Yeah, it's only $10. Yeah.
Yeah. So if the price goes up, at least they're in on that cheaper price. So I'm doing a sales pitch for you. Oh, I'm falling off my chair. I'm doing a sales pitch for you. I didn't. I'm not trying to like sell, but it's like it's fantastic. So that's actually really good. I want to know. You've already told us why you created it and how you actually created it, so that's fantastic. What are the types of clients that are best suited for Ghost Monitor? Is there a certain e-commerce stores that are better, or what sort of clients?
As far as I know, there are handcrafted shops where they are actually building products. So when you can order some unique products, when you have unique stuff to sell and you don't have stock or something like that, and you create the stuff on demand. On those shops, we are working less effectively, I guess. But out of this, it doesn't matter who you are. If you have stock, and if you sell or resell or dropship or anything else, Ghost Monitor will work perfectly for you, even if you're small, even if you're big. In my experience, the very, very big shops has their own solutions for that, their own developers, so they don't use apps or something like that. But if you're very small and you just started, you will find Ghost Monitor just as useful as if you have $100,000 monthly income. So yeah.
So when you
Almost
say,
everything.
sorry, when you say that it doesn't work for those sort of craft stores where things are made on demand, why do you think that is, and what? Why do you think that is?
It's experience. The thing is that we have built-in emails which has best practice marketing copy in that. So we are using urgency and scarcity.
Okay.
If you don't have stock and you create products on demand, you can't fire these elements of marketing.
But could
So
could you actually send a custom email? Could they send a custom email in that case, or?
Yeah, it is when you have handcrafted on-demand products. It is really hard to write a 3 email campaign. So these users mostly use just only one email. That oops, did something happen in your checkout? Can we have something? But in our second and third email, we use scarcity and urgency.
Yeah.
That hey, this item will sold out soon, so come back and complete your purchase. But you can't do it when you don't have stock.
No, and that makes total sense. But so you're not saying that it doesn't work at all, because I'm just I love this question. I didn't expect this answer from you.
Yeah.
So
you will.
So I've got friends of mine that actually own stores like this, where they actually make tables, furniture, things like that. But what you're telling me, it's not that it doesn't work as well as what you're seeing from a store, and that makes total sense. But it's not saying that it doesn't work. It's just not going to work to that same level of effectiveness, only because of, like you said, there's no urgency, there's no sense of demand, because it's custom made furniture or custom made products, which makes total sense. But in saying that, it's going to work extremely well for that particular store, for their business, to capture that information still, because they're still able to get in front of that person. So it's still awesome. But when you're looking at the scale, when you're looking across all the different types of industries, it's the one that's working. It looks the worst on the scale, but actually in that business, it's still amazing. Yeah.
Yes. So you will find small percentage changes, because you will find maybe only a 4 or 5% revenue boost from the average 7, but it will work. Yes.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. So it's not saying that you're not saying not to use it. You're just saying that, when you look at your statistics, that's what you see. So, and that just proves that statistics don't mean anything because it's still working for that business. It's just, statistics can show different things that might look bad, but it's actually still a good thing. I asked some people about Ghost Monitor. When I first found you, like I said, I first found you as an ad and loved what you were doing. And so I always like to do my research about things before I actually interview people because I like to get the best information across. And I love Ghost Monitor, but I put into a few groups asking people what their opinion was of Ghost Monitor. And I had two people, so I had a lot of great comments, but like saying, oh, wow, this sounds fantastic. But then I had a few people say that this could anger the consumer. I think you touched on it before when you said you're calling people and only 1% were angry that you had their phone number. So what would you say to people that say, asking for their email address is actually the wrong thing to do?
Um, it is very hard to answer because, you know, 5 years ago, when exit intent pop-ups just came to the market, and there started to explode the whole internet. Most of the store owners was just like that. Hey, what the heck is that? This is a pop-up. This makes me angry. I will close this whole out of this, and what happens now? Exit intent pop-ups are just a part of your everyday life.
Yeah.
I actually, I'm looking for the same here because I know that Ghost Monitor and other cart abandonment solutions are just new. Actually, we are new. We have unique features like add to cart pop-up. We collect email addresses, yes, aggressively, um, but these features will make your numbers work. So it generates you money, and we have a very, very low amount of negative feedback. And I guess you can't do something what fits for everybody. So you will have negative feedback, whatever you do on the e-commerce platforms. And I'm really proud that we have only, I don't know, under 1%. So it is a really, really great thing. And I know that some of the e-commerce owners are not familiar with pushing their customers to give their email addresses upon adding something to cart. But this is a huge opportunity, and I think and I strongly believe that they will find out it later. So if you don't want to be pushy, you don't want to annoy your people with cart abandonment emails, it is just fine. But you will leave a lot of money on the table. This is your choice. I won't blame anybody for it. I'm using it, and actually Ghost Monitor generated more than $100,000 last year for our shops. So basically, this makes me motivated to create features like that. And I also said that we have a very low amount of negative feedback. So I understand their concerns, but yeah,
So
it's their choice.
So I think that from my point of view, when I think about that question, and I get clients asking me about when I help them set up their stores about things like this, and I guess at the end of the day with Ghost Monitor, the difference is that the pop-up comes up. So someone says add to cart, and all you're saying to them is, hey, enter your email address to add to cart. They're choosing to put their email address in there. So it's it's not like they didn't want to give their email address. At that point, if they decide to leave and go, you know what, I don't want to give my email address to add to cart, then you're not going to capture their details. So you're capturing it because they've actually chosen. So when people say, well, people are angry, well, they're choosing to enter their email address, so they're going to get an email. And I don't understand why someone would get angry if they're choosing to buy something. They actually still think at that point, whether they abandon cart or not, they're actually thinking they're going to purchase it. So in their eyes, okay, I'm going to give my email address. Like, that's cool. It's like you walk into some stores and they ask you to put your handbag in like a box, you know, into a locker because you're not allowed to go into the shop with a handbag. It's like, well, I'm choosing to do that. So it's sort of that same thing, you know, that's my privacy. My handbag's going over there, and it's like my email address is private. Well, people are choosing to do it. I don't see it as, I'm like, understand why you'd only have 1%. I just wanted to bring that up because I did have a few people say that, which I thought was really strange. And I wonder what their thinking is behind that. And it's hard to write that into a message sometimes as well. So that's why I wanted to actually talk about it. So that's great. So Shamar, what's going on with Ghost Monitor next? Where are you going forward? How's it moving forward?
I actually strongly believe that this add to cart pop-up is a huge opportunity, and I actually love it. I'm in love with the add to cart pop-up. As I said, it generates you a high amount of hot leads, and you can fire cart abandonment emails, and of course you will be able to export and use it for promotional purposes later. So the thing is that I want to build a better solution on that, and I want to create more features for add to cart pop-up. Maybe a standalone product with only just the pop-up, and it's just captures the emails and make you send to export to your email list softwares. So the future, I strongly believe the future is here around the add to cart pop-up, and I will try to make that as useful and as high converting as possible. So this is right now the average add to cart pop-up conversion is 69%. It's almost 70. There is no other promotional pop-up in the world which can do the same. So I strongly believe this is a huge opportunity, and I'm trying to make it familiar with thousands of store owners.
So tell me, if someone wanted to try it out, if they're still, after this interview, if they're still sitting there thinking, I don't know if that will work, they can try it out for a month, can't they? You can sign up on your website just for 1 month and use the pop-up for a month.
Yeah, it's 15 days.
Free trial.
But we are converting ourselves to the freemium model right now. So we noticed that we had small shop owners who just started, and they didn't have enough time to test out properly because they were just so small that, okay, we just started, we're just looking for how to get some traffic and something like that. And I just felt that we let these users down if we just only give them 2 weeks or 15 days. So right now we are working hard to make Ghost Monitor freemium. So you will be, if you are small, you'll be able to use for months until you scale. Fantastic. So I want to help every store owners until they scale. So this is our next step.
Fantastic. Okay, well, when people watch this interview, it depends when they're actually watching, but we're in July at the moment. So at the moment, it's 15 days free trial. After that, it's only $10 a month anyway, so try it out for 15 days. If you're not sure if it's going to work for your particular store, try it out. If you think that you've angered a lot of people, then turn it off. But you're going to see massive differences with your actual conversion rates. I hear this all the time from people telling me, oh, you know, I've got this store, I'm doing Facebook ads, but people aren't converting, I'm not getting any sales. So by using Ghost Monitor, they can actually see if people are filling out the form, because at the moment, people don't know. They're saying that, look, I'm doing a Facebook ad and I don't have any sales, but they're not knowing what's going on in between that process. So Ghost Monitor is going to help them see what's going on. So even if they just want to try it out for 15 days and say, well, that didn't work for me, then they don't have to pay you any money. But it's fantastic. Try it out, because it's amazing the difference in the results that you're going to get. I loved what you guys are doing. I think it's fantastic. I think it makes a big difference. And yeah, and hopefully, you know, if people are watching this later on down the track, there's a free version that you're bringing out soon. So, and that's fantastic for businesses that need to scale. And a lot of these people that are coming to me, they're not making any sales at all. They're just starting out. So the free version will be great for them, that they can say, okay, well, I'm not making any sales at the moment. Once I start making sales, then I can actually pay for it. So excellent, excellent. So I'm totally excited. I've got some clients of mine that are trying it out now, that we've got them using it. So I'll be giving results in my actual group of how that's working once we start to get some results coming in. It's too early now. I don't want to start talking about any statistics until we know, but looking at everything on your website, it looks fantastic. And at the end of the day, try it out. Yeah, that's what I can recommend to all of the people, like my clients. I can recommend that to anyone listening to this, watching this. Just try it out, see for yourself, because if you don't know you don't know if it's going to work until you actually try it.
That's fine.
Fantastic. Well, Shoma, thank you so much for your time. It's been absolutely amazing, and let's keep in touch, because I really look forward to finding out more. I'm going to let everyone know how the statistics go with clients of mine, and I'll be keeping everyone informed. So thank you for your time. It's been awesome, and good luck with everything with Ghost Monitor.
Yeah, thank you. It's been an honor to speak with you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.